Crocs bling and hit me up, cause you know they really fly. Still hit the switch, red light yellow, I'm on gold now. Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Blinks by Liz, and today I'm going to show you how I make these beautiful sunflower bling crocs. Okay, and I also have big news. So the other day I noticed that I hit 787 subscribers here on YouTube, and I could not be more proud. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I could not have done this without you guys, so thank you. And speaking of subscribers, I want to get familiarized with each and every one of you. So I have an activity for my subscribers only. If there's something that you would want to see blinged out, or something that you think is cool if it got blinged out, or something you may need instructions with, whatever it is, if you want to see it blinged out, leave a comment below and I'm going to design a tutorial video tailored specifically for your request. In the meantime, if you aren't a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. What are you waiting for? Like this video, share this video, leave a comment if you have any questions, and we are going to dive right in. Step 1. We want to create a primer using a two-step process. And the first half is sanding your crocs. I purchased this nail drill from my local beauty supply. Now you don't want to go out and get the most expensive thing. This was about $25 to $30 or so, and it works. That's what I want to say. Get something that works so that way you can peel off that top layer. This is helping to create a better adherence when you add your glue, so your rhinestones and your bling can stay to the crocs and that your crocs don't just fall apart. For example, my people in makeup, if you need a primer and you don't add one, what happens? Your makeup comes off. Same for your crocs. So your crocs should look like this when you're finished. And you guys, I have some information I want to share with you that will help your crocs last a lot longer, so stick around to the end of the video so you can get that information. So to go into the second half of our two-step process of creating our primer, you want to add a rubbing alcohol. I purchased mine from Walmart. It was about $3 or less, and you're adding this to your crocs after sanding so that we can create the strongest hold for your adhesive. So for this next part, I'm going to show you my supplies list, and this is Gorilla Glue Super Glue Gel. I really recommend this. We're going to be using our X-Acto knife and also these charm backs. So to avoid wasting any glue, I like to map my fabric out first. So be sure to do that to avoid wasting your glue. Map your fabric out. And once you have an idea of how you want your fabric to lay on the crocs, then you can go ahead and move on to this next step, which is going to be me adding these croc charm backs to the insides of the crocs. And the reason I'm going inside is because it's easier to do that way. And as a little tip, you do want to add like a dab of glue when you're doing this, because those pieces may pop off later on just because they're not really secured. So add a little dab of glue and go ahead and pop them from the inside because it's easier. And we're doing this to make sure that the glue doesn't seep into the footing area, which will cause discomfort for your client. Okay, so now that I have my charm backs where I want them, I'm going to go ahead and add my glue. I recommend this glue because when it dries, it doesn't dry cloudy or noticeable like some of the other glues I've used. And this one actually has a pretty good hold. You just have to first get it to stay. So once you apply your fabrics like this, you do want to kind of lay your hand on top of it. It will leave a stain, so don't allow this to be your only layer of cloth. We're going to do a second layer just because that stain is there, and we don't want to provide our clients a noticeable stained up croc. So go ahead, you can pause the video, I'll wait for you. Add your fabric to both of your crocs, and then we're going to move on to adding our second layer of fabric. Okay? And for this second layer of fabric, what I wanted to do was kind of create a distressed look. I tried to find some distressed fabric in the fabric stores, but I just couldn't seem to find it, so I figured I'd just make my own. And the way that I did this is I took that same nail drill earlier and I just went across the fabric until it looked distressed. And for me, I just cut this one piece of fabric into two separate pieces of fabric, and I used those two pieces against those two crocs over there. So that's why you see me kind of sanding into two sections, because I'm going to eventually cut it. Okay, so before adding that second layer, you want to take your X-Acto knife and cut off the excess just because it's easier to see where you're going to be adding this new layer of glue. And for this new layer of glue, you don't have to add it all the way across. You're just wanting to do it on the edges because it's leaving that stain, and most of it is going to have bling over it, but you don't want to have a noticeable stain. So only add glue to the edge of this round of fabric and apply it. Go ahead and trim your excess if you need to. Oh, and I'm sorry, I should have showed you guys this when I showed my supplies list, but this is Loctite super glue that we're going to use to add trimming on the Crocs and around the denim, and this will help to hide that stain from the glue we just added on the denim area. So I'm just adding trimming around the top of the Crocs. And you know, I always want to remind you guys, because this is a freestyle pair of Crocs, so this is technically my vision that I'm doing, and you don't have to create your Crocs like this if you don't want to. You can use this as instruction video and add it however you want to. I'm going for trimming around the denim and the top of the Crocs, but you don't have to do that. Whatever feels comfortable for you, you can do it. But please do remember, I'm adding the trimming around the denim just to hide the stains from the glue. So if you don't want to add this particular color or maybe this type of trimming, you don't have to, but try to make sure you cover up the stains from the glue. And if you want to see me make more bling Crocs or other bling items, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Because it may get in the way of the trimming around the denim, I'm going to go ahead and add on my pieces that I know I'm going to add on top of the denim, so that way I can map my trimming around the pieces. And for this process, we're going to use both of the glues, Loctite and Gorilla Glue, so that it can have the strongest hold. Now, after you apply both of those glues, you do want to go ahead and add your charms or your patches, whatever it is, and you want to make sure you hold it. You didn't see me do it because I fast forwarded, but you do want to hold it down so that it builds a bond. And if you don't want to hold it with your hand, I recommend trying to get the, I believe they're called binder clippings or painter's grips. I don't really know the name of it, so don't quote me on it. I'll attach some pictures, but you want to find something that's going to cause these things to stay for about 15 to 20 seconds so it can build a bond, and then it'll do the rest on its own. So if you don't already, I do recommend you getting some type of gloves, because I did one pair of Crocs before for my sister, and I didn't wear gloves for a few minutes, and I hated it. It literally was a few minutes, and it was glue everywhere on my hands. I hated it. And that's because I had to hold the items down to build the bond. But once everything is held down and the bond is built, it'll stay on its own. So that's about maybe 5 minutes after me adding glue. It's staying by itself. All right, so we're moving on to finishing our trimming. So I'm going to work my trimming around the different patches I've added, and that way I know where to leave a blank space at. Sometimes I'll leave it blank. Sometimes I will go back and add in a smaller version of that trimming if I have it. If not, it still looks fine if you leave it blank because it's just part of the style. But I'm gonna add Loctite around this, and to be honest with you, you could have done either the Gorilla Glue or Loctite. The reason I chose Loctite was because Loctite's nozzle is much smaller than the Gorilla Glue. Gorilla Glue has a small nozzle as well, but I wanted it to be such a small amount of glue so that it doesn't overlap and starts to seep through, and I have to do all of this excess cleanup and stuff. Basically, I'm trying not to make a mess. So to avoid the mess, I use a smaller nozzle. Now these charms I did make, and I'm gonna add the charms in before I finish the trimming because the charms are laying right against the denim lining, and that's gonna interfere with my trimming. If you don't subscribe to my YouTube, then I suggest you do it because I did make a DIY video on how to make your own Croc charms, so your Crocs are gonna be so unique. One thing about me, I don't like to look like everybody else. I don't like to do like everybody else. I like my own style, so I like to be unique, and look how unique that is. So pretty. Dun, 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 dun. And what do we have here? E6000. And this means that we are almost finished. So I want you guys to stick around to the end of the video because I am going to give you one piece of information that I don't think I've given you before. And I do apologize about that. If you stick around to the end, this will definitely help your Crocs last a lot longer. But I'm going to be adding this lemon yellow rhinestone to the Crocs. And when I put these in the sun, they are so shiny and so beautiful. All right, now if you are at this step and you're ready to move on to the next step, I would say fast forward about 1 minute. So I just want to go over my website because a few of you have asked me how you can place an order. And if you have Instagram or Facebook, in the links on both of those bios is my website. I will attach the link to my website in the description here on this video. But the reason why I'm not saying it is because it's not just blinksbyliz.com. It is a website inquiry form powered through Jotform. And once you've complete the inquiry, I'll send you a response letting you know how you can make payment, and we can just go from there. So look for my link in the description if you want to place an order. And guys, please, if you haven't already, go follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on Pinterest also if you guys use Pinterest. Blinks, BLINX by Liz. Okay guys, so we're at the second to last step. The last step I'm going to tell you, which is a very important tip, but here we're going to be adding Bob Smith Industries Maxi Cure. I've heard good things about this. It has a great bond and it dries pretty quickly, and sometimes you need the stuff to dry quicker than the rest. And I actually need that for this bottom half that I'm doing, because the top half you see all of the rhinestones are together, but this bottom half I'm going to be doing isolated pearl stones and a few rhinestones that will blend in with the gold. The rhinestones are going to be gold as well, and this is just the idea that I'm going for these Crocs. So again, this is freestyle, so if you don't really like the look for isolated pearl stones on the bottom, then change it up however you feel comfortable. But that's what I'm doing for these. Now I do want to remind you guys, after you apply the isolated bling, if you're doing this section, then be sure to hold it down, because this glue does need you to hold it for a strong bond. If you don't hold it, the stuff will fall right off. It almost seems like the glue isn't gluing. But it is. You just have to hold it for about 15 to 20 seconds. That's what it says on the bottle, and that's exactly what it would need. Ooh la la. Now they are finished. I have one last piece of information I want to give to you guys, but look how pretty that is. Look at what we started off with, and look what we transformed it to. It's such a bright yellow. The Crocs are already a bright yellow, but it's so much more brighter. Now, I do want to let you guys know some information that I've learned over time, and that is you want to let these Crocs dry. They have to dry for at least 3 days. If you don't let them dry, your bling is going to be coming off way sooner than what you're expecting, and you don't want to hand over a pair of Crocs that are going to just tear up within days. So please make sure that your Crocs are drying. If you have any questions, you guys can reach out to me on any social media. Again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share this video. Also, if you haven't, follow me on social media at Blinks by Liz, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye. Crocs bling and hit me up, cause you know they really fly. Still hit the switch, red light, yellow, I'm on gold now.